Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, welcome to Dan and Brent Live Forever. We always forget to mention what show you're listening to.
I like anytime we mention the title, you always go, hey.
All right, Dan and Brent Live Forever.
That was like a zombie Wolfman Jack. Very juicy.
Well, this is a lazy Saturday afternoon recording.
It's shitty out.
Yeah, the weather's been horrible for like several days. Just cold and rainy and crappy.
That's why we're drinking Guinness. Because cold weather beer, man.
It is. You need something thick and hearty. And,
it is.
Or spiced liquor works well.
Just rum.
Yeah.
Rum's good all the time.
Yeah, that's true. So originally we were going to talk about CERN, but the CERN, the Large Hadron Collider.
Large Hadron Collider.
But we kind of,
Are you taking your cousin's advice a little too much to heart? I mean, I barely talk to you, and you're like jumping into it.
No, I just wanted to mention that we're not doing that.
Oh, I mean, we can talk a little bit about CERN.
I don't know, man.
Oh, you're going to just jump right into the fact that I got a little scared?
I wasn't going to. I wasn't going to, but since you brought it up.
All right.
Dan's worried about the apocalypse.
Well, I was for a minute, okay? I had very little sleep, and I was a little drunk.
Hey.
It was a long day.
Sure you didn't want to research demons then, at that point in time, in possession?
Well, since it all starts coming up, like, right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably drink some more of that beer before you get into that conversation.
Yeah, I got a headache.
Do you?
Yeah. But,
From the Peebs?
Yeah, I was drinking PBR last night.
Mm-hmm.
Poor choice in alcohol. But it's cheap, and I like cheap.
It works at the time.
Yeah.
Like almost any alcohol, when you're not concerned.
Any alcohol works when you don't have alcohol.
Yeah, and when you're not worried about the consequence.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, I'm not going to get that drunk off this PBR, so I won't have that bad of a hangover. And it's like...
Wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's way wrong.
It's like well drinks.
Yeah.
You're like, what does it matter? It's mixed with, orange juice or Coke or whatever. No, it fucking matters because that's basically formaldehyde that you're drinking.
My brain feels formaldehyded.
Yeah, like it's embalming you right now.
I think I put the I in reality.
What?
I don't know. Sounded right at the time.
Sounded good in my head. No, I started looking into CERN, which if you don't know, there's an amazing organization that gets a lot of bad press because people are scared of it, with good reason.
Yeah. I mean, the tests they do, the amount of energy they're using to make these tests is pretty crazy. Like when you think about it, like the amount of power that they're using to force particles into each other.
Well, and I was thinking this morning, what's more terrifying? The United States. We've actually blown people up. CERN's been active since like 1954, and they haven't blown anything up.
Well, I mean, they sacrifice them to the gods, but
man. Yeah, so I was researching, and the whole point was to bring up all these like crazy conspiracies, which are just that. I mean, there's nothing that I've found so far that's like, oh, well, they're definitely trying to open a portal to hell.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously.
No.
Well, that's the whole thing about a conspiracy theory. You're not going to find proof of it. That's why it's a theory.
Right. And that's what the fun was until something struck me that was a little weird, and it freaked me out a little bit. You want me to explain?
Well,
or are you tired of talking about it already?
No. Let's, I guess, talk about CERN first. Like, it's over in Sweden. It basically takes three or four countries?
Oh, you mean where does it sit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like on the border of Switzerland and, what's the other one?
Croatia? Netherlands?
Something like that.
Anyways.
That's why I brought the laptop. Anyway.
But yeah, and it basically it's a giant circle underground that they...
Yeah, it's basically like a railgun. It's like a big magnet roller coaster for particles.
Yeah, so they fill it up with hydrogen gas and basically use magnets to force it to go around faster and faster and faster and faster until the particles hit each other. And
it's an atom smasher.
Yeah.
Basically.
And the atoms hit each other at such a high velocity and such power that they fall apart basically, and they get these snapshots of the atoms falling apart so they can see the smaller particles that make up the atoms.
Right. That's a good way to describe it. Mm-hmm. Mostly they wanted to find out, and most of the physicists don't like the term, but they wanted to find what they called in 2012 the God particle.
The Higgs boson.
The Higgs boson, right. they've known
Do you know
forever that there was a weak force.
Well, you know what the Higgs boson is.
Kinda. I mean, I'm not that far into physics.
It's the particle that gives objects mass.
Oh, okay.
It is what accounts for mass in objects. So
Interesting.
that's what they're saying. Mass equals energy, MC
Oh,
squared.
E equals MC squared, yeah.
So that's why they're calling it the God particle. It's the actual particle that allows things to exist, I guess.
See, I knew you were smarter than me.
I like physics, man.
Well, then talk about it.
All right.
Because this
That's all I
laptop
know.
is dead.
Bummer.
Damn it. I'm just going to pause it because if we're going to talk about some of this shit, I'm probably going to have to look it up.
Go grab your phone.
Well, I've got my phone.
Well, start looking up on your phone.
Well, it's more hard.
It's more hard.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so they've found several other particles, and I went through and listened to some of these YouTube videos, and
It's hard to take.
Well, I mean, it's just like this one guy's like, it's weird that CERN always knows something's there before they find it. It's like, well, that's how science works, man. You predict something.
That's what theoretical physics is.
Yeah, it's like it's not weird. That's how it works.
Yeah. Do you think that before we had this advanced equipment and electron microscopes and shit, that they had ever seen an atom?
Hey, you know what was theorized before it was discovered? Germs.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. It's like, hey, man, I think this is a magnet. Oh, put it next to metal. Oh my God, it's a magnet.
Right? That is kind of neat about some of the stuff they've done with magnets, obviously, because that's the whole idea. But did you see any of the stuff about antimatter?
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
I was hoping you might be able to explain antimatter a little better than me because it's still kind of hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, I'm not completely 100% sure because...
Like, they were able to produce antihydrogen,
Yeah.
which is like the polar opposite, I think literally, right? The polar opposite of a hydrogen atom. But every time they do find antimatter, which I'm not entirely sure how they find it, by firing up this,
Yeah.
Stargate or whatever they're working with over there, it would appear for like a thousandth of a second or something. Enough for them to register like, oh shit, that's antimatter.
Well, I heard they were able to capture it for like
Yes.
16 minutes or something.
Yeah,
like
later
that.
on. Which is kind of cool. That's what I was talking about with the magnets. They created a magnetic bottle.
That's
so it would like
what I was wondering.
zip around
And kinda get-
until the right frequency or whatever around this tunnel, and then
vroom.
they turn the magnets on, hits inside this invisible bottle, and then they close it, and then they're able to like sustain it in there for a little while.
Yeah, so that's what I had assumed. I didn't look into it, but because I was wondering, like, well, if it's antimatter, you can't keep it in a glass jar
No.
because it's antimatter. Like, so it has to be held in nothing, which the only way to do that would be magnets. Have you seen where they can, like, float frogs and stuff
Yeah.
in magnets?
Float all kinds of things.
I mean, that has to fuck with the frog's brain, right?
Well, I mean, they do a lot of horrible things to animals, man.
It's just a frog, though. So they were able to... that's what
In the same breath, between sentences. Man, that's kind of fucked up. They do it to the frogs, but, it's just a frog.
Well, so one of the big things people are scared of CERN is because of their mascot / statue out front.
I don't even think it's out front. I was
It's
trying
not-
to figure
well-
out where it's at on their campus, and it's
I heard it was out, but I mean,
CERN. That's why I was going to look this up. CERN gets its name from the translation.
Central European. Wait, what? No, research something, right?
Yeah, but it's in the other language.
Oh,
It's actually like the European Center for Nuclear
and
Research.
Development or something like. Yeah, okay.
So it would be out of order in English.
Oh, gotcha. Well, out front, I'm going to say that now until you find out exactly where it is a statue of Shiva, the Indian goddess.
God.
Is it God?
Yeah.
No. The Indian god.
Only goddess in Final Fantasy VII.
Is maybe that's why I said that. Honestly.
That's what I thought too. I thought it was a chick.
The Destroyer is his name because he kills everything. So,
But he's also a huge figure in Hinduism
yeah.
because not only the destroyer but the creator as well. So it's
Well,
like
exactly.
it's like a time of change. And if you actually read the plaque
Exactly.
on the statue, it's a gift from India.
Yeah.
So it totally makes sense.
And also, even though it's
It's not like they're like, "Hail Shiva,
The
we
destroyer of
have erected a
worlds."
statue in your honor."
Well, and also it's not like it's the name's even that far off. The Destroyer, they're in there smashing atoms. They are destroying like the basic fundamental items of not items of items. That's not the right thing.
Items of items.
But so I mean, it's not like it's what's a better one? It's not like they put Satan on a statue.
Right. So another thing that occurred to me: maybe don't freak out like everyone else is freaking out.
Yeah.
About anything. And really, it wasn't even related to CERN. It was because I was researching CERN that some other whack job was like, what about the moon? I'm like, oh, that kind of lines up. What's going on? And let's be real. It's way out of my league. Probably shouldn't have even attempted.
It's probably out of the dude who made the YouTube videos league as well.
Oh, yeah. All the dummies. Just like us. And we're averagely smart. Averagely, that's a word.
Disprove yourself immediately.
I feel like I can reason out most things, and there's a lot of people dumber than me, man.
Yeah,
and a lot of them have YouTube accounts.
Well, speaking of YouTube, real quick note. Yeah. Starting with this episode, we're going to be releasing all these on YouTube as well. So
sweet.
If you'd rather watch it on YouTube instead of, I don't know why you would. It's just going to be a still image. It's not going to be a video of us, but more people to hear us.
How would we do that? It does it automatically through Libsyn?
I think it does. I have to look into it. I haven't figured it out quite yet, but it won't take me long.
Yeah, we're done. It's cool.
Well, here's another thing about the apocalypse. I still haven't
put us on TuneIn, so whatever.
The whole thing about the apocalypse, this is the way I look at it. I mean, if it is the apocalypse, there's nothing I can do to stop it.
True.
So why am I worried?
No, okay. That's a good way to look at it.
That's how I look at life. Some things you just can't stop. So, yeah,
Well, see, when you've spent a lot of time in church, and I have, and you have a lot of issues with a lot of the stuff that goes on in the church, like some things, totally understand how it's a benefit, really don't like a lot of other things. Not sure how I feel about it. I don't know who's trying to tell me the truth, who's lying to me.
That's where faith comes in.
Right. That's the easy answer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when you've been programmed that long, I think what's scarier to me about the apocalypse, see, I'm not afraid of dying.
You're afraid of after the apocalypse.
Right, because that implies, if you believe any of that is true, that also implies forever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but
to me that's a little scarier. I mean, it like triggered some of the, like, when we were real young and went to like a country church in Indiana when there was a lot of fire and brimstone sermons. It triggered that in my head, like that, oh man, what if it's real?
Crisis the whole...
And they're going to burn me forever.
Well, here's another thing. Like, let's say you die and either go to heaven or hell or whatever. Once you're there, you're immortal because you're going to be there forever.
If you're just going to play by their rules, yeah.
I mean, if you're there forever, wherever you happen to go.
Sure.
Well, then what's forever to something like time no longer really holds time is not really a thing anymore.
I don't know. I don't know about any of it, is my point. Like, do any of us really know what's going on?
No. I don't think any of us. No, I don't think anyone does. And people have faith in what they believe in, and people believe in nothing. People believe in God. People believe in CERN.
I mean, it's a pretty. We haven't talked about it a whole lot, but I mean, it's a fairly common struggle in my brain of my upbringing and programming versus intellect. Like, yeah, it's a lot nicer to think that there's a benevolent super being that has my best interest in mind.
Versus everything goes black and you just don't exist anymore.
Versus everything means nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's Pete Holmes' joke because he kind of has a lot of the same thoughts.
Yeah,
and explores who he is and why we're here and what's it all about on his podcast. He Made It Weird. Kind of feel like I'm doing right now. But he was talking about, like, okay, if you're on a plane and it's going down, would you rather be, some uptight dickhead drinking like a glass of scotch and, everybody's dying? And
I'd comfort people.
You get the atheist who's just like drinking his scotch, like, well, this is just as meaning as everything else was. Or do you want to be the guy at the back of the plane who's Christian who's like, I'm going home? like, yeah, I mean, there's some benefits to having beliefs in things. I mean,
I definitely think that's how people got where they are today, like people in general, like as a species,
Sure.
like without religion, like why not just rape that person I want to rape?
From both sides, though, right? From negative and positive. Like, most people are like, well, if I'm bad, then I'll have to go to a bad place. Well, then the bad people and people of power throughout history have used it to control people as well through fear.
Yeah.
So that makes me untrusting of the whole scenario as well. Like, is any of it real, or was it just used to control people? Like, it's a really messed up scenario. I'd like to believe that it's all real. I'd like to believe that there's a
Well, then believe.
giant super being in the sky that is like, don't worry about it, Dan, I got you. Because that's what we'd like to think. We'd like to think that we're going to live forever.
Well, and depending on what religion you grew up in, like some forms of Christianity, like once you accept Jesus Christ,
Yes.
no matter what, you're going to heaven.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically I am.
So, yeah, just believe in that one. I mean, what if you get up there and it's like, shit, the Hindus were right. Like, I don't know anything about these gods.
Right?
I mean, they're all so similar too.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that makes it kind of be like, well, I mean, there's so much in common with all religions. It's like, maybe it's real.
Yeah. Like, maybe there's something going on and everybody just got a different interpretation of it because people are different.
Well, this one, it's
a collective subconscious.
Well,
And we're all afraid of dying, so we invented this thing to imagine that we're going to live forever.
Here's something a little crazy I was thinking about.
Yep.
So, when I was listening to that video, he was talking about how maybe CERN was supposed to be bringing Nimrod, basically.
Yeah, I've seen that
the
one.
leader who created the Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
Well,
Despite God.
So the Tower of Babel was created because everyone could communicate together. They tried to build a tower tall enough to get to heaven, so they didn't have to go through whatever to get to heaven. They could just go directly up there.
Oh, I thought it was because Nimrod built the Tower of Babel to challenge God, and he destroyed the tower and confounded the languages.
See, I thought it was because he wanted to. They wanted
that's
to
the
build
myth about why everybody's different.
Well, I guess it is a way to challenge God. They wanted to build a way to heaven so that they didn't have to go through God to get to heaven.
Yeah, and that's what Nimrod's thing was. Like, I'll build this tower tall enough
Well, and he's saying
so I can challenge you personally.
two things. One thing, if at one point we all spoke the same language and then it broke up, we would all have slightly different religions because over time they would all change a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, they're saying CERN's kind of like that because we're trying to figure out, aka air quotes, the God particle without God. So we're trying to figure out the basic building blocks of everything so that we can then create our own heaven on Earth.
Yeah, but I mean, why doesn't the Human Genome Project get that sort of attention?
Because it wouldn't be creating heaven on Earth.
No, but they're creating life from nothing.
Whereas if we had...
Or trying to.
Like,
using like stem cells and growing ears and petri dishes and shit.
Yeah, but if we figure out like the bare essentials of particles, we can build anything.
I see what you mean. Like being able to manipulate it.
Yeah. Like, imagine having... What's in Star Trek where they just... And it beams whatever they want?
Oh, like their foodicizer?
Yeah, so they could, we'd be able to punch a machine. And basically, that'd be heaven. Like, we're going to live forever now, and we can have anything we want ever, always.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
So if the Tower of Babel was true, does that mean there's going to be another Tower of Babel situation where it's like, listen, these guys are talking too much. Let's break them up.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You know what it's called? It's called the FCC. Shutting down the internet. We're all communicating too much, Dan. They're going to throttle it.
Hey, yeah. If you go on Wikipedia, and this is just from Wikipedia. This isn't some crazy site. If you look at CERN's accomplishments, birth of the World Wide Web.
Mm-hmm.
So, turns out my dad was right. The computers are the beast. We're all going to burn.
Damn it.
But no, I didn't know that. Like, because of, the scientific importance
of being able to communicate
of the project, it became a data center very quickly. And then, as communications improved, everybody needed remote access.
Like the sizable undertaking of building a tower to heaven?
Or, the ability to connect computers over copper lines so that everybody doesn't have to travel all the time. That's how they came up with the World Wide Web.
Isn't it crazy that...
And it wasn't Al Gore.
Isn't it crazy that...
Why does he always say that?
The internet's really just Morse code?
A lot of it, yeah.
I mean, technically, it's all. It's
Well, yeah, ones and zeros.
yeah.
Isn't everything? I don't know, because I don't understand DNA, the twisty ribosomes.
Yeah, well, see, DNA is not binary
Right.
because it's 4, but they're paired, so it's really 2, which 0 and 1. So
Which is binary, yeah.
I guess it's a 2-digit binary system.
Isn't binary 2-digit?
Well, no, binary is 1, 0 or 1.
Wouldn't that be unary? Uninary?
Well, binary. There's only 2 answers for
The
it.
unicorn?
0 or 1. I don't know. Damn it.
Doesn't bi mean 2?
Yeah, because there's only 0 or 1.
Yeah.
Which technically is only 1.
Are we spinning ourselves out a little bit? I feel like we're spinning out.
Tires
Tires
not
are
gripping.
spinning.
They're not gripping, Dan.
You got some kitty litter? Speaking of, what's a good way to get out of a stuck situation? If you don't have
Boards.
boards, you think? Dirt?
Yeah, just pack tires.
Of course, you've never had to deal with a lot of snow.
Oh, if you're talking about snow, I've been.
I just
stuck
meant
in
spinning
mud
like in
stuff.
the mud, yeah.
Yeah, anything, wood sticks.
Anything to chalk the wheels with
Mm-hmm.
so that it grabs. I think that's where a lot of people screw up, including me. Is I'll put the board flat, like, oh, I'm going to make like a little road under there.
No, you
And then it
want.
just shoots the board out.
Yeah,
Some kid loses an eye. I'm talking to the police. Yeah.
you want to get something where you can grip and.
Turn it the other way. So you roll over it like a railroad tie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go get a railroad tie. Those are heavy. Just a board.
I mean, if you can carry a road tie, that'll get you out.
Or ball up a couple squirrels, throw them under there. Little balled up squirrels. You don't need squirrels.
Friends, legs,
If we had to.
the dead corpses in your trunk, anything will work.
Speaking of spinning out, what were we talking about?
Just the end of everything, end of times.
Yeah, just disassembling everything.
Yeah, so I'm not concerned about CERN. I mean,
Concerned about CERN?
Oh, that's right. I told you there's going to be a lot of
Yep,
CERN.
concerned.
I'm concerned about it. I mean, I'm not concerned about it because one of the main issues people had when they were first about to start, they're like, well, yeah, it's going to create tiny black holes. And everyone's like, I'm sorry, what? Black holes on where? Earth? Yeah, no, thank you. How do you know they're not going to just absorb everything and we're all going to die?
I'm not saying that something bad won't happen. Well, it hasn't, though.
Well,
Think of the things that they've discovered. Like, they knew that they couldn't keep antimatter very long because once it touches matter, they both destroy each other in a flash of light, and it produces energy.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done that many times. Everything's cool. And we might have had a couple of hurricanes. Somebody was trying to tie that together, too. And it was completely made up.
Yeah.
He messed with the table. Like, he was trying to say, oh, well, the earthquakes and Harvey and Irma, and it's on these dates. So I'm like, okay. If you go on CERN's website, they'll give you a schedule for the collider. Not only did the schedule change because one of the projects got done sooner than the other,
Yeah.
but the original schedule was totally different than the one the kid was talking about on the freaking video. And I'm like, why are you just lying?
Dude, this is another thing. You can make correlations between anything.
Yeah, if you want to.
If I had a graph and I marked down people how long they lived and how many times they saw a butterfly,
Right.
and you zoom into that graph enough, you can go, see, look, the more butterflies you see, the longer you live.
Right.
Here's proof in this chart right here. And then you look deeper and it's like, well, technically out of 1,000 people, you only used 4 people to make your graph look good.
You know, I heard...
What's the word for that? Not binary data. Fuck, I'm stupid.
What?
Where someone changes something for their benefit.
Congress.
There's a word for it, like when you want something to go your way.
Bully.
Fuck off. I'm going to look it up real quick.
Go ahead.
Keep going.
Shit. I forget what I was saying now. Because I was too busy making fun of you.
Those, the YouTube videos, the guy's just lying.
Conspiracy? Oh, for their own benefit, you mean? Just sensationalism? Because they want to be like a news organization that makes money on fear and lies?
Yeah. Like I'm just want to make money, so I'm just going to say whatever I want.
Yeah.
I mean, we could make our own conspiracy and put YouTube videos out about it.
Sure.
And eventually, if you get enough people to turn their head towards it, all of a sudden...
Maybe that'd be a fun experiment. Maybe we need to come up with our own conspiracy.
All of a sudden, you're...
and just make shit up.
And then you become a church.
Right? And see how many people, start spreading it around. And then like a year later, we'll come out and be like, everybody needs to stop this. Because we just lied the whole time to prove a point. That'd be great if somebody came out and did that. I'm kind of expecting, what's his name?
Who?
Bruce Jenner to do that.
Dude, he totally...
Like, if he came out, he'd be like the hero of so many people, including me, to like come out and expose all the social justice warriors for being just complete frauds and phonies. Well, if he was just like, hey, I was just pretending to be a chick for a while, and you guys all lost your minds.
You know why?
This is hilarious.
You remember, like, right before he became a woman...
I don't remember that.
He was driving his car and killed someone.
No.
Yeah. You know why no one talks about that? It's because within weeks, he decided to become a woman.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. He killed a lady in his car. He plowed into her and pushed her into traffic. I
remember that.
And she died. Like, weeks before.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'd become a woman, too, to get away with murder. Like, not that it was planned murder or anything, but, I mean,
what's the worst going to happen? You walk around with some fake jugs for a couple years?
Yeah. He didn't cut his dick off?
No.
Yeah. Why not?
No.
Yeah, bro. Kind of fucked up.
Somebody, I think it was Bubba, totally, like, caught him on some audio talking to Kris Jenner. Mm-hmm. Or not. No, what's her name? Kardashian?
Yeah.
The mom?
Yeah. Well, it was Kris Jenner because they were married.
Like, they don't come out and say it, but she's basically like, did you? And he's like, no. Like, there's like a little like side conversation where you know what they're talking about. And she's like, did you like go all the way? And he's like, yeah, that's causing some problems. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Like, they immediately like shut it down, but he's totally like, no, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I have no problem if you want to be transgender. Go be transgender.
I don't either, man.
But I do have problems with...
I have problems with people lying about it.
And I got problems with, like, that year... I'm going to call him a he because he's a he. He's a dick. Yeah. One woman of the year. Forgot you were recording there, Dan?
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing. Makes it real.
But, you know, like, if you want to be a transgender, go be a transgender. I don't care. Doesn't bother me in the least bit.
No.
Now, when you let your 5-year-old kid start taking hormones because your 5-year-old boy says he wants to be a girl, you can't do that, man. No. You can't do that. No. They're 5. There's people out there that do that, too.
I know. And I really think they should consider that torture, dude.
This is delicious smelling.
Yeah. Blue Moon apricot. I think I told you about this.
I think you did, too.
We used to drink this one called Pyramid. It's an apricot with just like a little bit of apricot. This is very close. Can you do that?
Yeah.
The cap thing?
Yeah.
You seem like the kind of guy that can. I can't do it.
Got caught my
Oh, you're going to hurt me, aren't you? Don't break anything.
No, I was just hitting them.
I used to hate that, dude. Be like at a house party or something, you just hear like...
right by your ear.
A tiny saw trying to kill me.
Yeah, I was flipping a bottle cap with my... When you snap and it shoots off.
Yeah.
I can whip a towel pretty good, too.
You were that guy, right?
I mean, not really.
No? All right.
I just knew how to do it and, like, hit people with it. I could whip a mean towel, too.
Oh, I can. Yeah.
That's the fucking worst, isn't it?
It really is.
Someone catches you right on the upper thigh. Or lower thigh, I mean. Right there behind the knee.
Yeah, dude. Nasty.
Fuck you.
Yeah, nasty. Anywhere, really.
Yeah.
He gets popped a good time with a towel anywhere in your whole body.
Yeah, it's the worst. I always fuck with my wife like I'm going to get it to her. She's like, fuck, stop, no, I'm like, I'm not really going to hurt you. And I'll turn around, she'll try to get me, and I'm like, well, now I have to get you.
Right. Yeah, and well, if you're going to mock me, I knew you wouldn't. Oh, and it's on now. Mm-hmm. You should probably hide. Did we just describe spousal abuse?
Whoa, stop for 1 second. Did you just say, did we just describe scaffold abuse?
Spousal abuse.
Oh, okay.
Scaffold abuse?
The scaffold abuse is what I heard. I was
Maybe
like,
that's what I said.
Hold up. Yeah. So, CERN, I'm not concerned about.
Stop it.
I'm really not. Like, I think they're doing good work. Keep it up, guys.
I think so too.
You know, just keep the paychecks coming in. I mean, keep doing what you're doing.
Why be so scared?
They're not paying me to say anything.
Shit.
You know, it's kind of like the moon landing, where if it is being covered up, it's like there's no way you can keep, or not moon landing, flat Earth. It's like there's too many people they'd have to silence.
Yeah.
Like you can't make everyone be quiet about it. Like how many people work at CERN?
Oh, there's like 42 countries or something.
Well, yeah, exactly. So like you just mean everyone who's ever been there says nothing?
Yeah, it's a messed up thing. It really is. That they are getting such negative attention. But I mean,
did you read the thing about the scientist who released some thing on some board about how he used to be a scientist and technically still is, but wanted to like release this information before he got murdered, basically?
Oh, the little short story?
Yeah.
which is clearly a story and not like somebody telling their experience.
Like, we call her father, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Like, I crept into the room. It was dark that night. I'm like, you're not.
Yeah.
This is prose. This isn't a confession.
Yeah.
And shitty prose.
We got in the elevator.
This is a
she pressed the
short
button
story.
and said, I'll never get used to that. Why would you mention that? There's no reason to mention that. It's because it's a story.
Yeah. And a bad one.
Yeah.
Like, I could write a CERN story. Probably better than that.
Why don't you write?
It's a good question. I think it's just I'm lazy.
Yeah. I like to learn to write better. But I guess I should learn to speak better first, but
yeah.
I guess it's one and the same, right?
You need to read more.
I got all
the more
these
you
ideas.
read, the better you write.
I got all these ideas of stuff I want to write, and I like keep these little notes about them, and then I never write anything about them. I got all these cool little stories, short stories.
Like what? Would you like to share one?
I told you about the vampire cop one, right?
Don't do that when I've got a mouthful of beer. I almost ruined everything. I told you about the vampire cop from outer space, right? No, you have not.
Okay, so check it. Really, when I think of these, I think of them as movies in my head. I like cast them out and everything. But, I mean, I think they would be good written as well. So, this is in the future, or even now, let's say now times. All right, so we had to take a break. We realized the heater was on and was probably making a good bit of background noise.
I don't even know what we were talking about anymore.
So,
what did we start talking about?
We were talking about CERN.
We got off topic a little bit, but it was going somewhere. What were we talking about?
Literally couldn't tell you. I don't think it really matters.
Space? No?
No.
Shit.
Started talking about space because I was playing a little Space Odyssey.
Yeah. End of the world? No.
David Bowie? No. Well, we can start talking about the end of the world because that's what some people think CERN is going to cause. Well, there's a few things they think it causes. They think they're trying to open a portal to another realm, like to release Satan.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Maybe we should just run down some of the stuff that they were accusing them of.
Their experiments are causing changes in timelines, which explains the Mandela effect, which I don't know if we talked about the Mandela effect before, but
I don't know.
Bernstein bears.
Oh, the Mandela effect. Okay, yeah.
That's the best way. As soon as you say that, everyone goes, oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Berenstain.
Yeah. Who knows? Who cares?
It was always Berenstein for me, but a lot of people say Berenstain. Probably because that's just the way it reads.
And also, when you're reading it, you're 7.
Yeah.
Like, you don't recall exactly what,
Let it make sense that it would be Stein.
Yeah, because that's a name. So you would more familiarize yourself with Stein versus Stain.
Right, and it's German sounding, and that's how you would pronounce it.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, and then, they call it the Mandela effect because some people believe Nelson Mandela died in prison. Some people think he didn't because he didn't.
Because he didn't?
Yeah. I don't know who thought he died in prison.
Didn't he just recently die?
Yeah. I mean, a few years ago, but yeah, he got out of prison. He didn't die in prison.
I think I was one of those people.
That you thought he died in prison?
Yeah.
I think it's just because you forget about him being in prison. So you're like, oh, he must have, oh, wait, no, he's still alive. Oh, weird. Well, so they that.
Damn
Language.
It, dude.
Language is the best.
Yeah, you're good at stuff.
I'm good at stuff like words, speaking. They believe it's going to bring along the apocalypse. No, that's not the right. Bring about the apocalypse.
Or release demons, open the pit to hell. One person I read that the site that they build, CERN, is maybe, they think, on the ruins of a temple of Apollo, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it's in Switzerland.
Okay, well, and if
then they tried to make that correlation to Revelation, where the bottomless pit, where Apollyon is released. I'm like, man, you're making a lot of logical jumps.
Well, and what part of CERN? Like, it's fucking huge. It's going to be
multiple parts.
It's going to be on something somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
The names of how the 3 main detectors line up with. They don't line up. Let me stop myself right there. They don't line up. There's 3 in a row, which there's 3 in a row of a lot of things, like Orion's Belt.
Sure.
The pyramids. The mountains on Mars or something like that I read also.
Yeah, there's too many correlations that they're
trying to make. And they don't line up because they're on a circle. Orion's Belt is a straight line. So there's no way they line up.
No. It's more just...
And now the 3 stars...
Bullshit.
The 3 stars in Orion's Belt... The first 2 start with the letter A, and then the third one's like an odd man out, starts with the M. And then same thing with the detectors. It's Alice, and...
They're just looking for shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's all correlation without causation, motherfucker. Science.
Yeah. What was another one? Well, the weather control thing.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure they're... Oh, it's supposed to be teleportation to Mars for...
Oh, yeah,
Stargate.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it seems like if...
The thing I keep going back to is that they haven't done anything. It's kind of like Iran.
That you know of, man.
It's kind of like Iran. Like, Iran gets a lot of shit, and it's because people that have lots of money want something from them. But they haven't openly attacked anyone in, what is it? It's like 1,100, 1,200
why
years.
are they going to attack anyone? Because they
haven't
can make
attacked
money
anyone.
from everyone.
They haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Well, they've enriched uranium. We're the most dangerous country on the planet. If anybody is suspicious, they should be suspicious of us. We're the dicks.
Huh. Yeah, it's like North Korea, like shooting a missile and testing a bomb. It's like,
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead, man.
I like fireworks too.
Well, you launch that missile, we will hack into it and turn it around on your asshole so quick.
Immediately. We have fucking subs that's all they're doing in the ocean. They're just waiting for someone to launch something so they can counterattack.
Yeah.
Every country has to know that, right?
Yeah, right? I mean,
the school's down the street from my house. The nuclear school is down the street from my house. The weapons station.
Yeah, you're
They're
definitely
training
going up first.
some of the brightest people in the country to ride these things around just to look for fucking missiles in the sky for them to shoot down.
Now, do you think we caused that missile to not launch from North Korea? Because it wouldn't surprise me. You know, the one that kind of like went up and kind of went and then back down.
Nah, it's just
Or is
dud,
it just
man.
their shitty dud system?
Yeah. My dad used to call those squibs for some reason. If it was a squib.
You know what a squib is, right?
No.
Like horror movies, when you see someone get shot and blood explodes, that's a squib.
Ah, weird. Anyway, but it's kind of the same concept though. Like, don't bust me up about my firecrackers, bro.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he has explosives in his house. No, those are firecrackers. He's a lunatic.
Yeah. Let him play.
Play with your toys, dude. You're not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to piss the wrong person off.
And then they're going to hurt you.
You're going to throw a firecracker across the street into Jack's yard. You're going to cause a big burn mark, and that's his pride and joy. He'll come over and beat my ass. That's how it works.
They think that a lot of people think America has bullies.
Yeah, we are.
I think we're more of a principal, and everyone else is still in school. And we're like, listen, we'll fuck your whole shit up. So just listen to what we say.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick.
I think it was Trevor Noah, who's the host of The Daily Show now.
Yeah.
In his stand-up, he was like, I don't think you guys realize that, yes, we kind of think you're assholes, but kind of not. And this is coming from a South African, which,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people think they're assholes.
There's a black South African.
Yeah, it's different. But I think he said that everyone thinks of the United States as the bully on the beach.
Yeah.
The big muscly guy walking around that's been working out way too long, and you're like, obviously that guy's a douchebag and I don't want to fuck with him. But he's not really causing any problems. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, I know if someone came over here and tried to beat me up, he might have my back.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but that's how they think of the United States. Like, you're just a dick.
Yeah.
Like, you're just, obviously nobody's going to fuck with you because you're bigger than everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
But that doesn't mean we like you.
no. And I have no problem with you not liking us. But, like, I mean, I think for the most part, Americans don't want to bother anyone.
No.
We don't want to be in these wars.
No, but our lives are pretty easy.
Yeah. And they're easy because of the things that,
Yeah.
you know, we do behind closed doors that I don't want to know about.
I don't want to know either.
I don't want to know
Even though
shit.
this podcast is kind of about that.
Oh, yeah,
thing,
but you know what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to feel guilty for
everybody
having
knows.
an iPhone for $20 a month.
No, you don't want to think about that. We just want to continue being shitty consumers. Like, down with child labor, but keep making those screens because I break one like every 6 months.
I hate child labor. Oh, you want to go back to flip phone? Fuck no.
Well, who's going to make the flip phones?
Yeah. We might be able to make flip phones by now.
We're terrible. Last in education, first in military. All right. America.
You seen, I guess we can talk about this for a second, the whole thing with them trying to kill net neutrality.
Yeah, that sucks.
I mean, I haven't been watching it close enough to know if it's passed or hasn't passed or...
Oh, they already passed it.
So net neutrality's gone?
Yeah.
Fucking cunts.
Yeah. I'd had no real interest, and still don't, in what the hell was going on with Trump or any of that shit. And I mean, I'm sure it's not him.
Who?
Trump. I'm sure he's not doing anything.
No, it's that
up there. He's just balling out.
Balar or whatever, the head guy of the FCC.
Yeah, the FCC guy, who I'm sure is bought and paid for like everybody else. But those were the two things that bugged me the most about what's been happening in the government lately. Net neutrality. Not only can they sell your browsing history, all your activities online, which you can mask, but you have to go through
VPN,
a private VPN. So it's going to slow your service down anyway. The other thing they can do is basically accept bribes. So if Netflix
is playing more than Hulu,
yes.
So Netflix gets more bandwidth.
Yeah, they can just pay Comcast to be like, okay, make everybody else suck, and they've got the money to do it.
Yeah. Now there's good things and bad things about that. There really are. I mean, good thing is,
I don't see what's good about it.
Okay, maybe there's not any good things about it. Maybe some of the bad things about it, like small businesses. Like if you're trying to make a website now that rivals Amazon, or well, I mean, not Amazon, you're not going to do that, but like Etsy. Let's say you make a new page that tries to rival Etsy.
Yeah, good point.
You have no chance.
Not really.
Because Etsy's going to pay basically to lock you out.
Yeah, because now they're
going to categorize websites, and they're going to tier the rankings in each category. So it's so
you can't search for it.
Oh, you have a podcast page? Well, for $25 a month, we can allow 4,000 people to visit your site.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt that if we had enough advertising dollars, everybody would know about this podcast.
Yeah,
with no trouble at all. So essentially, the internet is becoming the small business.
Fucking pay to win. Fucking EA.
Pay to win. It's the whole Walmart thing, like how that killed the small business, the small mom and pop shops.
But see, there was a good side of that because now you can get cheap socks.
And I know where to go to get and
you can go one place to get everything.
A back scratcher.
Yeah.
Whereas before I'd have to go to some weird gas station out in McClellanville.
For $45 back scratchers.
Right.
Because they're all handmade.
Well, that's the good ones, man, where they have individual fingers, they're wood, wire. How do you feel about back scratchers? I don't like them because I feel like it's one of those things that random people pick up in the store and use.
Yeah.
How do I know I'm not getting a used back scratcher?
You don't. You fucking...
It's gross.
Alcohol it when you get home.
I don't feel like that's enough.
I mean, it's not like it has grooves in it. It's not like it's a... yeah, still. I never thought about that until you just mentioned it. Thanks, Dan.
It's gross.
I have one my whole family shares, but that's just me and my wife.
Sunglasses, hats, same way. Oh, those hat stores in the mall. Can you imagine how many kids
I don't go in
have
those.
had that hat? Keep the tag on so you can return it. Those hats in the mall.
You can look at a hat and tell if you like it or not. You don't have to put it on your head.
Everybody does, though.
Oh, man, imagine being a woman. Bikinis.
Yeah, that's weird, too.
Like, they got the little protection strip, but what? No. And you're supposed to keep your underwear on when you try them.
Terry tells me she puts it on, over her clothes.
That's what you're supposed to put it on over your underwear.
Yeah.
But how many gross fucking nasty hookers don't do it?
I'm sure there's plenty of them.
On their period, just throwing them on, trying stuff on.
Stop it, dude. Well, there's something you're going to have to cut.
Red Tide.
Damn it.
I don't know if you know this, but I've slowly been editing less and less so that eventually I can get to the point where we can just release them with almost no edit. I mean, we're going to have to edit because I screwed up when we took a break, but...
Well, yeah. And I think you just thought I was cutting too much out, so you took the reins. You're like, man, these are too short now.
No,
why is this 45 minutes, Dan?
Not that they were too short. It's just I could tell you were stressing way too much about it.
I do stress about it a lot.
Yeah, and you don't need to.
It's very kind of you. So,
and I
never explained what freaked me out.
You didn't get into it?
No.
We started talking about it.
Yeah, and then you cut me short because you're like, well, let's talk about CERN first.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so pregnant lady with the sun above her head, the moon on her feet, 7 stars.
Why are you just jumping through it?
I mean, that didn't explain.
Just trying to.
I don't understand any of it, but I understand once you told me about it, I was like, what is he talking about? And I was looking it up, and I was like,
The thing that bothered me was that if you observe those 3 things separately, okay, so there's this video about Revelation 12 online, and so I'm like, well, what is he talking about? So the scripture...
Real quick, though, did you read the section in the Bible?
Yeah.
Out of a Bible?
No, but I've got plenty of Bibles in the house. I can... I didn't know. No, I pulled up like one of those Bible Gateway
Okay, like an actual Bible website.
Like a Bible
that would
website,
have the correct.
yes.
It wouldn't be like
No.
BibleRevelations.xm.
Yeah, it wasn't just made up.
Yeah.
But it was taken out of context.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Obviously.
so it says something like, I mean, I could read it verbatim, but I don't feel like going to find.
No, just sum it up.
There's a wonder in the sky. There's a woman clothed in the sun with the moon at her feet with 9 stars above her head, and she's with child or something. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So on September 23rd, which is the end of Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year, and it is also 33 days after the Great American Eclipse. If you looked at the sky on September 23rd, 33 obviously a significant number in the Bible. Christ lived 33 years, etc.
Okay, you say etc. That is the only thing I know of.
Well, there's the Trinity and threes and threes and sevens are.
Well, 33 and 3 are different numbers, Dan. This is why I have problems with these conspiracy things.
Oh well, this isn't a different number. Christ supposedly lived 33 years,
Okay.
according to the Bible.
And what else is 33? Nothing?
I don't know.
Well, 33,
That's the big one.
33 years and 33 days are different things.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like, it's just...
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean, sometimes numbers show up. Okay,
So-
keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt. It's just... This shit aggravates me. It's what flat earth people do.
No, it
bugs the
is.
shit out of
It
me.
totally is. And it's what all conspiracy people do. They just take things out of context and draw parallels. The thing that was weird to me was I read the passage, and then I went and downloaded an astronomy app on my phone that allows you to change the date.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them do that, where you can see, like, what did the sky look like in Paris in 1950?
Yeah.
I did that. Pointed my phone up where Virgo was, which is a female constellation, the Virgin. Over her head was, or like kind of over her shoulder, was the sun. Jupiter was in her stomach. There were Leo, which is 7 stars plus 3 planets. I'm sorry, Leo, which is 7 stars plus 2 planets, are like lined up along with Virgo and the sun and the moon. They're like in a line.
But what part of Virgo?
Huh? The constellation.
I know, but you say lined up. Like
Like
7 stars.
Like
They're
a-
not straight line.
like above her head, like if you're looking, and I can pull it up for you, but this, like if you're looking at, just think of a line.
Mm-hmm.
On one side there's Virgo with her
I know,
feet
and-
off to the left. Underneath is the moon. In the center, where her stomach would be if
Is
it was a
Jupiter.
woman, is Jupiter. Right over her shoulder is the sun, and then like in a line, just going directly above her head. If the constellation is taken into account, is Leo, and then 2 more,
I know, but I'm
and then
saying
2 more planets,
Is
like
Leo,
right there.
Leo's not 7 straight stars in a row.
No,
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, the
the
alignment.
constellation is above her head.
I guess the alignment of the constellation. It was what I'm wondering. Like, because you can't. I mean, there's multiple stars in the constellation. Like, how are they aligned? Like,
I'll pull it up for you, and you'll see
well,
what I mean.
know, but the stars don't change. Isn't Leo and
No.
Virgo always lined up in that same exact way?
Close together, but
They don't move
No, but that's what they're saying, because
because of where the
planets would be
planet-
seen as stars to the ancient world.
Yeah,
So for those 2 planets to be lined up above her head, that adds the 2 missing stars.
yeah.
So for those 2 stars to be there in line with the sun, in line with her, in line with Jupiter and the moon, is supposed to be the sign of the beginning of the apocalypse.
But also in ancient times when they didn't have lights and shit,
Right.
you would see so many more stars.
True.
There would be 45 stars above Leo.
Sure.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, but yeah, keep going. Sorry, the star thing bugs me.
You don't need to argue with it.
I'm not arguing. It's just
I'm just telling you what I saw.
I know.
So I read the passage, looked it up on the app.
It looks like.
I'll
what
show you on the app.
says.
It looks like if I read it and then looked at it, I'd be like, shit.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I was like, shit,
Shit, the apocalypse is here.
what's going on here? Started looking up a little bit more. It's also the end of Rosh Hashanah, which I didn't know.
And what is Rosh Hashanah?
It's a 3-day festival at the end of the Jewish year,
Okay.
which is September 20th, but they don't consider the new year to have begun until Rosh Hashanah is over, which would be the 23rd. And the festival ends the 22nd. So after And
So this was 33 days after Rosh Hashanah?
no,
Or 33
this
days
was 33
after
days
the
after the
eclipse.
eclipse.
On the Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah. And again, fuzzy numbers, but it was kind of weird. The last Jewish year was 5,777. And 777 is the number of completion in the Bible.
But you're skipping out on the 5,000 before the 777.
Right.
You can't just truncate whole numbers and say,
Right.
well, you could also be like, well, yeah, this is year 7, which is a lucky number.
Sure.
Like, it just,
I
I
understand.
hate when people, I know, I just hate when people cut numbers in half and they're like, look, it's like, well, this is 665. Well, you know what's missing? A 1. But technically, 5 is also written in number 1 in the same shape in Greece. So technically, if you add the 1 plus the 5, it's a Greece 666. Like,
No, I understand.
yeah, I know. It just, my brain hurts trying to.
You don't have to fight it.
I'm not fighting it. I just get angry. I just get angry inside.
Yeah, that's the same way Terry felt. Like, all I was trying to say was, like,
It's just weird.
it's kind of weird.
Understandable.
Like, kind of like in the flat earth kind of way, like, okay, that's bullshit. And then you give me, like, 7 or 8 examples where you're like, what about this? And I don't really have an answer. And you're just like, huh, okay, well, that's a pretty good conspiracy. And it was just kind of like that. It's just like,
Okay.
that seems to hold some weight, more so than most other crazy shit
Yeah.
you hear. And once you see it, you'll see what I was saying. But it's totally taken out of context. That part of Revelation has to do with more about the early church and about the crucifixion and resurrection, about how the devil tried to tempt Jesus, but Jesus passed the test and was taken to heaven. And see, a lot of the early Christians, which I'm sure for a lot of them was terrifying, thought the world was going to end at any moment, because the revelation of John was thought to
Like, once Jesus dies, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, because they didn't understand, like anybody else, the prophetic books that are like, 7 years of tribulation. So they're like, okay, so does that mean since Jesus died like 2 weeks ago, he's coming back in 7 weeks? Like, what's happening right now? So there was, throughout history, there's been a constant fear that this is it. We're all going to die.
I think that's pretty much always been a fear of humans, though. Like, throughout history forever, there's always some form of, holy shit, this is the day the world's going to end.
Sure.
Because we found this written on a mountain, which doesn't mean someone wasn't taking peyote and just wrote some shit on a mountain.
True.
And it just happens, like the whole Nostradamus.
Right.
Like, his writings, like, just how it depends on how you read into it, man.
Yeah.
It's, like the whole Mayan calendar ending. Like, people thought the fucking world was going to end.
Maybe
Literally.
Maybe they just stopped. Maybe the dude got a hand cramp and was just like, ugh, enough of this.
Well, supposedly it's like,
No more chiseling today, Robert.
Well, they would probably have made another calendar for after that one ended, but they no longer exist, so they never made another calendar.
Right. Didn't it play into like their cycles? Like, they believe that there were cycles of the earth, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, this cycle ends in 2012 or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure.
Which it is, I think, a cycle, but it's not like it's a end of the world cycle. It's a, like a seasonal type cycle, I think.
Something like that. I don't even know.
I don't even know either, but the world didn't end. Year 2000, the fucking world didn't end. When all the stars lined up a few years ago, remember that, when all the planets were in line?
When?
I think like 2006, 2007, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
When is, or maybe it was after that. Anyways, all the planets had aligned, and they're like, "This means," and, nothing happens, and nothing's ever gonna happen.
Then come to find out, it's fairly common.
Yeah, it's like, it happens like every 74 years or something like that. Like,
well, and it's varying degrees, and how many planets are you going to include?
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, and it also lines up with the center of the galaxy, and it's like, does it? No, not really. Like, and even if it does, eventually, like clockwork, when things spin around, like blinkers on a car. You ever been behind someone, your blinker on, the person in front of you, blinker on,
huh?
And they're out of sync, click, 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 and then for a split second they clink, 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 clink together, and then they're out of sync again. Yeah, that's just how shit works, man.
Yeah. It just happens.
Shit's gonna fucking
if we
line
didn't
up.
have fucking computer models that could predict things, based on the trajectory of celestial bodies, impossible flat earthers, if the world was flat, just saying, would they even notice? Nobody would notice.
Well, and then also you got
Like, you wouldn't even know that was going to happen.
You got to look at this too. Like, the solar eclipse only happens in a small strip of area. Everywhere else doesn't see a solar eclipse. Except
this one.
No, we just happen to be in the area that we were in.
Didn't it, like, span, like, the whole country?
Yeah, but its trajectory was only, like, maybe a couple states wide.
Oh, true.
To see a total solar eclipse. So what I'm saying is, depending on where you're at, things look aligned differently.
Well, I mean, obviously the United States is going to save everybody, so why wouldn't we have been given the sign, dude? I mean, we're the important ones.
That is true. That is true.
We've got all the money.
Important. I mean, we have CERN.
We have all the guns and all the money.
Wait, no.
I did think it was kind of funny that the United States is not on CERN's board. There's like 42 countries. The United States not on there.
Because they're going to, listen, man, they just want to smash some atoms. They're going to figure out some shit. They're going to use it to kill a bunch of people.
Oh, you want to invite the dude that dropped bombs on people? Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, not. This is America. America would be like, crank it to 11. What? Just turn it 11. Let's see what happens.
Turn it up higher. Oh, speaking of, we tried to do that.
Yeah, I know we did.
In Waxahachie, Texas.
That's what Americans do. They go, what is this to? Oh, I'm going to crank it all the way up. All right, now shoot it with a gun too. Let's see what happens. See what happens.
Put some dynamite in it.
What, you've been smashing hydrogen atoms together? Hey, let's throw some uranium in there. Come on, spin that sucker up.
Superconducting super collider. You heard about that?
Yeah.
It was a project by George Sr. in Waxahachie, Texas. That was, of course, going to be 4 times larger than the Large Hadron Collider.
Well, it was before, or I guess it had already been planned.
$1 billion was spent on it. And, of course, there's all kinds of stuff on YouTube like, they really finished it. No, they didn't.
No.
There was a video, like on Discovery or National Geographic, where the tunnel wasn't finished, and they filled the tunnel with water so that it wouldn't collapse.
You mean they filled it with water to hide the entrance for the aliens?
Right.
That's weird, man. They won't let you scuba there to find the truth.
But yeah, they ran out of money because they spent $2 billion just building the tunnel that was supposed to be like 78 miles or something in circumference.
Yeah. What do you think Elon Musk is doing right now?
Oh shit, he's building tunnels under LA.
Just saying.
Idiot.
You don't think they could run a train and have a secret hidden ring around the outside that also runs those experiments?
I'm sure there is.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
I think they should put out the fire first.
Hey, California, you're on fire.
California's on fire.
Dude, have you seen the pictures of like, hey, I'm driving into work today, and it's just like the whole mountain's on fire? It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
I think I'd much rather deal with hurricanes occasionally.
Me too.
Than fires.
Like huge, uncontainable fires that they just have to like, we're going to let it burn itself out.
Do they brush burn like we do here?
I don't know. I don't think it matters because it's so dry.
I know, but see, like here, what we do in our forest, like Francis Marion, they'll have controlled burns. Well, they'll burn sections of it at a time on purpose.
It's really annoying to drive through.
But it keeps it from fucking turning into California.
Yeah.
And I guess they don't do that in California?
Well, and it's so much more moist here, though. So, I mean, it's easier to control.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, it's super dry out there.
Why don't they just take all the water that's in the ocean?
Just spray down these plants with salt water. That's good for them.
Oh, man.
What are some of the other ones? Ragnarok, obviously.
Ragnarok, but that was more of the end of, like, that wasn't supposed to be the end of the world. That was supposed to be the end of...
The Norse people?
What's the place? I just watched Thor Ragnarok, like, last night. What's the city they from?
What's the city they from? You mean in Marvel terms? What is Ragnarok? I was talking about Norse mythology.
Isn't I thought even in Norse mythology it wasn't the end of everything. It was the end of just. I want to say Midgard, but that's where we are.
Why can't I think of it? Probably because it's messing with you.
Oh, not Atlantis. That's not right either.
Wow, we're retarded.
What the fuck? The big city.
Fuck off, everybody who's yelling at the radio. Fuck off. I'm looking it up.
Asgard. Asgard, yeah. I don't know why we couldn't think of that. So definitely, I thought the whole like actual Ragnarok was the destruction of Asgard and Odin and Thor and all the old gods. You know, from what's the big wolf's name? Because that was actually from mythology. That was correct. Winrimer? Winmer? Winmere? Freya?
Freyr?
Something like that. Yeah. Anyways, that's actually in the mythology too.
In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is a series of future events including a great battle foretold to ultimately result in the death of a number of major figures: Odin, Thor, Tyr, Freyr, Heimdall, and Loki. The occurrence of various natural disasters, subsequent submersion of the world into water. Afterward, the world will resurface anew and fertile. The surviving and returning gods will meet, and the world will be repopulated by 2 human survivors. Ragnarok is important in Norse mythology, etc., etc. It's been a subject of scholarly discourse and theory throughout the history of Germanic studies.
I think we could do a whole Norse mythology.
It is pretty cool.
I'm really into that too.
But you're right. A lot of the stuff that they put in Marvel, like the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, all that stuff's. I mean, well, it's not a gun, but it's pretty fucking accurate.
Huh?
What
gun? What gun?
Well, you know how it's like a laser gun, like that's you push the sword in and it. Pew.
Oh yeah, well it's like a method of travel.
Well, yeah, but it's they do have the Rainbow Bridge. That's an actual thing in Norse mythology.
I don't remember the name of the place. Niflheim.
Midgard.
How often did you get lost in freaking Marvel Alliance in Niflheim? I got lost in there for hours, dude. It's like this looks like the last place.
Why don't they make more of those games?
I think it's the licensing.
Okay, real quick, while we're talking about...
Somebody said Marvel Heroes was shut down.
Really?
By Disney, yeah. Because of the licensing.
Maybe they're planning on something big. But anyways, while we're talking about Marvel, can we talk about Infinity Wars coming up?
Sure.
I mean, you're a big fan, I'm a big fan. Okay, so we know where all the stones are except for the orange one, which is the Soul Stone, right? The blue one is the Tesseract.
Yep.
Green one is in Doctor Strange's time eyeball thing, amulet. Yellow one is in Vision's head.
Purple one's in Guardians.
Purple one's in the Guardians. You need one more, which is the orange one. It's supposed to be the Soul Stone. Who could possibly have it? And the better question is, who can have it that would work with what they have the licenses to make them in the movies? Because they can't do anything with Fantastic Four.
No.
So that excludes Silver Surfer, excludes like, what's the big planet-eating guy?
Ego?
Gravitron.
Oh, Galactus.
So all those are off the table.
Right.
Dr. Doom's off the table. Which, how is that? Did they sold the rights to someone else?
Fox has the rights to the Fantastic Four and all the mutants.
So that also, I was wondering why they haven't like even shown up and something. Like, just fucking don't be a dick. Let the X-Men help
somewhere
fight Thanos somewhere. Like,
although it's interesting, I don't know if it was planned that way because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's kind of that way in the comics too. Like, there kind of are 2 different universes.
Yeah.
Like, the X-Men don't show up in Civil War at all.
They don't?
No. Which is funny.
Because you think they would totally be fighting in Civil War.
Because maybe that's one of the reasons why, because, like, their whole thing is, like, we've already been dealing with this mutant, non-mutant thing our whole lives, so you guys go deal with hero, non-hero on your own. I'm
just wondering who haven't they done, like, a movie about? I mean, I'm sure there's tons of
major character?
Like, major character-wise. Ghost Rider?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've done Ghost Rider, but not well.
Yeah.
The second one was okay. Andy shows up in that Marvel show.
Does he?
Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Is it Nicolas Cage?
No. It's
I like Nicolas Cage.
It's Robbie, the newer Ghost Rider. He has a car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which I always thought was dumb.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty badass car.
I haven't watched any of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Those are the only ones I've watched. Just because it was Ghost Rider. I don't know. The Skrull haven't shown up. Any of the Secret Invasion shit.
I know. That's what I'm waiting for. I was hoping...
Because they've already done the Kree. They haven't done any Skrull.
I was hoping they were going to do Skrull before they went into the Infinity Wars. But see, Skrull are more Fantastic Four enemies.
Yeah, true.
But, I mean, there are the enemies of all of them because they can shapeshift in anything. I was hoping they were going to do that, and somehow that's where that stone was going to come up.
Yeah, I don't feel like they can do Siege, which is the event that's supposed to follow Ragnarok. Mostly because Siege ties into what's the event that happened after Civil War? Dark Reign.
Yeah.
Where what's his nuts? Green Goblin ran the
becomes
like
president.
fake Avengers or whatever.
Yeah, and
Becomes
makes like the
Iron Patriot or whatever.
Yeah, Iron
That's
Patriot.
a great storyline.
Yeah, and like basically has a Suicide Squad team with Venom and.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
That'd be a dope ass movie.
What was it called? Was it just the Dark Avengers?
I think it was just the Dark Avengers. Yeah,
because it was dark everything for a while, and then I feel like it kind of fizzled out with Siege.
Yeah,
it wasn't that great of a story.
Yeah, I don't think I ever read Siege. Like I've read some of the Dark Avenger stuff, and just because I like
some good fights.
I like villains as heroes.
Yeah, they're more interesting. I mean, that's why people like Batman are interesting, because they're dark and mysterious, have a personality.
What if Cable brings the Orange Stone from the future in the new Deadpool movie?
That'd be cool. Still different.
What do you mean?
Those are still Fox Pictures.
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah. The only one they currently have licensed to is Spider-Man. And you're right. I hope they don't just like cheeseball it out like he comes and finds Nick Fury who had it locked in a vault.
Yeah, which they could totally do.
That's lame.
I wouldn't even mind if they were like, "Oh, he already had it." But you got to think.
Well, who's supposed to have it?
Here's the thing. If it's the soul crystal, it should be able to bring life and death to stuff. So who has that power? Because the green crystal was time control.
Who has that power?
The blue crystal, I think, is like teleportation type control, which didn't really make sense with the Tesseract. But, well, yeah, I guess it did because it opened the portal up to...
Hela has the power to bring somebody back. There's a couple of Asgardians that can. But, I mean, that's not going to work in the cinematic universe.
Well, is it not? Because now they're heading to Earth.
What are the stones?
Wait, no, that makes sense, man. Listen. So they're all heading to Earth now.
Because we're talking about Infinity Gauntlet, right?
Yeah.
Which is basically before the Infinity War.
Yeah.
So,
well, you saw...
In a way, the cinematic universe so far has been like the Infinity Gauntlet.
This is it right here. Check it. I just figured it out. In Thor Ragnarok, when what's the bad girl's name? Hela? When she's in there and she's seeing all the stuff, the Infinity Gauntlet's in there. Remember? She sees it and she's like, "Oh, this is all fake."
Yeah.
What if one of the stones was real? Just that one stone was real in it. I was trying to pick out Easter eggs as I was watching it, like all the different pictures on the statue of the champions. You see Billy Ray.
Oh, here we go.
You see Billy Ray on there? Old Billy Ray Thor.
So was the Tesseract...
The
Tesseract is a different device. I forgot about Loki's staff.
That was the Tesseract.
No.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
He wasn't carrying around the Tesseract with him.
No.
Dr. What's-His-Nuts was using the Tesseract to make his experiments.
Yeah, but he stole the stone out of the Tesseract to put in his staff.
Oh.
And then he lost it, and then it was locked up, and we think he got it back at the end of Troy, at the end of Thor. Oh, remember he sees it when he's going to drop the skull in the fire?
The Space Stone.
Yeah, that's what the Tesseract is, right? The Space Stone?
Yes. All right, maybe we should talk about the rest of this off air, because I feel like it's going to get real boring for everybody.
Yeah, well.
Or maybe we'll just do another one on it.
We could do one on Marvel, like just comic books. We could just do a comic book.
We could do a whole podcast on comic books.
We could do multiple.
No, I mean like a separate podcast.
Oh, yeah. Like, welcome to the Marvel podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan and Brent, Marvel
You're going to
Forever.
go see Star Wars? Isn't that coming out like 15th? Next week?
Yep. I'm excited.
I am too, man. I like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Even the prequels that I didn't care for, I still wanted to see just because I wanted to know how the story played out.
Yeah. I think...
Like, I wanted to know where all these ideas came from.
Have you heard about all the crazy conspiracies about the prequels?
Yeah.
About Jar Jar Binks being like...
Yeah, did we talk about it in the movie episode?
I think we might have, but Jar Jar Binks being like a Sith Lord.
Yeah,
and he's like almost like drunken master, like his way through the whole fight scenes and everything.
Yeah, and if you go back and look at it, it's pretty.
He is
pretty interesting.
Sakaar.
But they never explain who the Phantom Menace is. And then the
Phantom Menace was the senator.
The who? The senator?
Palpatine.
Really?
Well, he's the one who like was behind of all the droid attacks and.
Oh, true. In the second one, though, you do see Jar Jar walking around with Palpatine.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I only know that because I went back and watched the YouTube video. Because I've only seen that one time.
Yeah. The second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So bad. But maybe it's so bad because they had to rewrite it at the last second to take Jar Jar Binks out of it. Nobody cares.
How great.
Anyway,
yeah.
The new ones are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, the new one's pretty good. I see a lot of people complain that it's just like episode 4. I was like, you mean it's just a heroic story?
Yeah. There's what's supposed to only be like 7 storylines
Yeah.
ever, and everything's a variation of that.
Dude, how about let's work on a story. Let's collab on a story and make a new storyline.
Yeah, maybe we should figure that out.
I mean, sure,
I'll have to look it up.
Smarter people than us working on it, but
I should know these, but there's certain story archetypes that supposedly cover everything. So we should see.
I love a good hero's journey, though.
Figure something out.
I love a good hero's journey.
Or anti-hero. Mad Max.
Yeah.
People love that shit.
Well, most hero's journeys, like the way to make a good hero's journey is the hero can't choose to be a good person. They have to be thrust into that position. Unwillingly.
Yeah.
And then come out on top or become a villain.
Yeah, and it's like mythology for thousands of years have all been based around that idea.
Yeah.
Because people like it. People like,
They like to root they like to root for the underdog.
Yeah, because you want to think that losers are going to come out on top.
Yeah.
Because most people are losers.
The meek shall inherit the earth.
That's right. We want to take control of this shit.
No, just the Meek family. Have you met them? They live down the street.
Yeah, I don't like them. They're always just like kind of smarmy about everything.
Well, I think this pretty much wraps up our semi-apocalypse episode.
Always want to give me a glass of milk for whatever reason.
The Meeks, they love their milk.
Fuck the Meeks. So we covered CERN. We covered that I was scared for a minute.
Kind of covered some basic apocalyptic.
Yeah, really just the Norse. A little bit of Hindu. They believe that, she was going to destroy everything and recreate it.
How weird is it that like the Native American lore was about the great white man will come back, and then we come and they're like, oh hey, it's the great white man, this is awesome, and then we just wipe them out.
Destroy.
Yeah.
Destroy.
That's horrible. But it's how did they get the white man as the person coming back to save them?
Well, it's all similar mythology though. Just like you were saying with the creation myth, there's a messianic, savior myth in almost every culture. There's a destruction myth in every culture, and they're all kind of similar. They have different figures, but those are, just like the storytelling, those are common themes in people's lives. They want to know where they came from. They want to know when it ends. They want to know, is this all there is, or is somebody going to help me escape from this bullshit?
Yeah, I think you kind of got to do it yourself. You just got to
go your own way.
Go your own way.
Thanks, Stevie Nicks.
Oh, man. Well, we got a lot of episodes now, and we just mentioned several that we can do.
Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't mind doing one on Native Americans.
I wouldn't mind doing one on Stevie Nicks.
Wouldn't mind doing one on Nixie Steves.
She's terrible. It's funny, in college, my buddy Scott would, somebody said they like Fleetwood Mac. Mm-hmm. He would say pre-vag or post-vag. Because Fleetwood Mac before the Chicks joined, it was a completely different band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you borrow it or burn you a copy of Then Play On.
Chains? Huh? Chain? What?
Mick Fleetwood? Fleetwood Mac? What are you talking about?
Their song, Chains?
Chains?
I'll have to play it when I get home this. Anyways, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, hit us up.
Follow us. We love you.
Yeah, follow us, retweet us, share us. Check out our new YouTube section that hopefully will be up with this episode. If not, maybe
how long do you think
episode.
that'll take?
I'm pretty sure I just got to register the name and then...
It's way too easy.
Yeah, it should be super easy.
Oh, dude, we can't.
No, here's the thing. Since YouTube is completely separate, we don't need to host any of the audio. We can make the video.
Oh, we're gonna get sued, man.
No, I'm gonna cut. The one I post on YouTube is gonna be just us speaking, not gonna be the intro or music on either end.
So how you know there's a problem? Because you knew exactly what I was talking about before I said
I've already planned it. I've already planned it.
Anyways,
yeah.
Shout out to Scott. Told me he was listening to a couple episodes and was just basically like, "You guys sound drunk on these things," and I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah. Shout out my buddy Ryan who told us we take too long to get to the stuff we're supposed to be talking about.
There might not be one, Ryan. Deal with it. Russell and Donna.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Said they were listening last week.
Yeah, they really enjoyed it.
Thanks, guys.
Donna said she bought her kids those same big dolls.
No way.
And they didn't like them either. And she ended up giving them away to Goodwill or something.
No shit.
Yeah.
Everybody hated those.
Yeah, man. 3 feet too big for a doll.
Weird. I wonder if they had something wrong with them. Like they just like smelled bad, or they
It just is
like,
the timing
full
was
of
bad.
Chemicals, timing, yeah,
With the Child's Play movies and giant dolls.
yeah. Like you don't want to bring out a doll that's a clown that also has fangs. You know, right around the time it comes out.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm Brent.
I'm Dan.
Thanks for listening.
I almost said I'm Brent.
All right, we're out.